A spotted surprise. Yes, there he is, Hosana. It is with some joy that I say that we found Hosana, or we are with Hosana. It is with some sense of shame that I say we are with Hosana. This is because we drove past what he's killed sometime yesterday, and whether or not he had it in the tree when we drove past here this morning, I don't know. But there's a kill in the tree over there. It is an impala. But he's been on that for at least a day, I'd say. And unfortunately, I drove past it this morning if it was in the tree. It may not have been in the tree. I know that I didn't look in the tree though. Now, I think we're going to have to move a little bit here because we're going to be in the way. I just want to check that Aubrey can see. Mingavon? Sure. Yes, they say it's fine, they can see. That's a relief. And so he's fast asleep, or now, or he's about to be fast asleep, I'm pretty sure. And this, I can remember seeing him in this very tree with his sister. His mum was just below. Probably about, I'd say about 18 months ago or so. He's probably about 6 months old. It wouldn't have been 18 months ago, I mean almost 2 years ago. 2 years ago it must have been. I've got a picture of him in this very tree where the kill is. The tree was in full leaf, and he was just on one exposed branch. And it was a lovely kind of juxtaposition of the green and his lovely colours. Well, H. Macy, that may not be a situation that persists for very long. You say no one's stolen it from him. Now, Tingana's tracks are nowhere around here, but Tingana does have a very good nose, and he might pop along here and steal it off his son fairly soon, but that doesn't really matter. Hosana has had a good feed. You can see he's got a big fat belly, and he's now very relaxed and very sleepy. Marvellous. Very pleasant indeed to be with this leopard. So at least now, as we lead up to TV shows on Saturday morning or Friday evening for many of you in America, where it is of course the only place you can watch it, in the northern US, at least we know where one of our leopard characters is. Now the trick is going to be to find the other three, Thandi and Tlalamba, and of course Mr. Tingana. We very much want to introduce him to you. Well, of course, all of you know him, but we very much want to introduce him to our TV audience. We've failed to do that thus far. In fact, we haven't introduced Thandi and Tlalamba either, have we? The first 2 episodes we had Hosana and the lions, and then last week we had hyenas, wild dogs, and this fellow. No, Magic Dragon Wizard, you're absolutely correct. He's going to do absolutely nothing with that full tummy and that kill. The only thing he might do, of course, is try and avoid having it stolen. Big fat belly. You can hear people laughing and enjoying in the background. They are, of course, tourists. Seems like two trucks full of children. Toofy Toof, the answer to that question is more often than he'd like to. He is constantly killing and having his food stolen. Toofy Toop, with a P. Toofy Toop, what a very strange name you have. Poofy Poof. Poofy Poop. Poofy Poop. Somebody called themselves Poofy Poop. Poofy Poof or Poofy Poop, I don't know what your name is. It's created great consternation in the final control now. Poofy Poof. Okay, good, right. I still think that's a rather odd name, regardless of whether it's Poofy Poop or Poofy Poof. Anyway, the answer is that he kills more often than he'd like to, and that's because he keeps getting his kills stolen by his father. And in one case, his sister and sister niece, or yes, sister niece tucked in. There you see he's keeping an eye out because he's wary of the great thievery that could take place here. So Poofy, he'd probably kill once every 3 or 4 days if what he was eating was something like this impala. Maybe even 5 days or so. But of course we don't know if he's eating scrub hares on the way, or the odd francolin, or mongoose, or chin-spot batis for that matter. He certainly eats terrapins from time to time. So it really does depend on what he kills and how hungry he's feeling, and whether or not he is able to kill, or whether he's able to finish his kill before it is stolen. It would of course be very nice to see him go up there and do some actual eating, but the size of his belly, I'm not sure that's going to happen anytime soon. Someone will go back to the lions at some stage today, probably closer to the end of drive. I may well go back. So those of you who are missing the Nkuhoma Pride, don't worry,